I promised myself I would never return to AI restaurant. Then I remembered the talking pizza, and somehow I was back. The robot waiter opened the door with a smile. "Welcome back. Your pizza has been talking to you all morning." I laughed and said, "Very funny." Then I heard a voice behind me. "He's late again." I slowly turned around. A hot pepperoni pizza was sitting on a table, looking straight at me with tiny cartoon eyes and a huge grin. "Finally," the pizza said. "Do you know how boring it is waiting to be eaten?" I blinked twice, completely speechless. I carefully sat down. The pizza sighed dramatically and said, "Please don't fold the slices. I have standards." I reached for one slice. The pizza shouted, "Hey, at least compliment me before taking my arm." I smiled and said, "You smell amazing." The pizza proudly replied, "I know, even the burgers are jealous." Suddenly, a cheeseburger rolled over from the next table and yelled, "That's fake news. Everyone comes here for burgers." The pizza and the burger started arguing so loudly that the robot waiter sighed and announced, "Food fight mode activated." The pizza pointed at the burger and shouted, "I'm the star of this restaurant." The burger laughed and replied, "You're just bread wearing cheese." The burger puffed out its bun proudly. "Customers take pictures with me first." The pizza rolled its eyes and said, "Only because I'm still in the oven." I quickly stood between them and said, "Relax, you're both delicious." They both turned toward me and asked, "Really?" I smiled nervously and nodded. The pizza whispered, "Good answer." The burger whispered, "You chose wisely." Just then, a plate of French fries jumped onto the table and shouted, "Excuse me, you're forgetting the most popular snack here." The burger laughed. The pizza laughed. Even the robot waiter couldn't stop smiling. The fries crossed their tiny arms and looked offended. The fries proudly declared, "Without us, your meals are incomplete." The burger quietly replied, "That's actually true." Suddenly, a bottle of ketchup rolled across the table and said, "Can everyone stop arguing? You're all useless without me." The whole table became silent. Then everyone slowly nodded. Even the pizza admitted, "Okay, the ketchup has a point." Before peace could last, the restaurant lights flashed red. The robot waiter looked at us and announced, "Emergency! The ice cream has escaped from the freezer." Everyone turned toward the kitchen. A scoop of vanilla ice cream was rolling across the floor as fast as it could. It shouted, "You'll never freeze me again." The robot waiter pointed dramatically and announced, "Attention! Runaway dessert detected." Every robot rushed into action. I jumped out of my chair and said, "Don't worry, I'll catch it." The pizza laughed and replied, "Good luck, it's faster than it looks." I chased the ice cream around the tables, but it kept slipping away. Every time I got close, it made a sharp turn and escaped. The burger shouted, "Go left." The fries yelled, "No, go right." Their advice only made me more confused. I accidentally bumped into the robot waiter. We both spun in circles while the ice cream happily escaped again. The runaway ice cream suddenly stopped and proudly declared, "You can't catch something that's naturally cool." The whole restaurant groaned at the terrible joke. My talking pizza whispered, "I have an idea." It pointed toward a giant waffle cone sitting on the counter. I carefully placed the waffle cone in the middle of the floor. The ice cream smiled excitedly and rolled straight into it. The entire restaurant erupted in applause. The robot waiter handed me a shiny gold coupon that read, "Official Dessert Rescue Hero." I smiled proudly until the coupon started talking too. I stared at the golden coupon in my hand. Then it suddenly shouted, "Congratulations, you won absolutely more food." I sighed and asked, "Does everything in this restaurant talk?" The robot waiter smiled and replied, "Only the things with good jokes." The coupon floated into the air and spun around. Bright letters appeared saying, "Free mystery meal unlocked." Before I could ask what that meant, a tiny delivery robot rolled toward my table carrying a small silver box. The robot waiter carefully opened the box. Inside was one lonely chicken nugget wearing a tiny crown. The nugget cleared its throat and proudly announced, "Bow before your Nugget King." I couldn't stop laughing. The burger whispered, "Don't encourage him." The pizza added, "Last week he declared war on ketchup." The Nugget King pointed dramatically at the fries and shouted, "You are now my royal bodyguards." The fries saluted like real soldiers. Just then, the ketchup bottle rolled forward and said, "Your Majesty, your crown is upside down." The Nugget King quickly fixed it and pretended nothing had happened. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the restaurant. A giant screen flashed, "AI chef arriving in 10 seconds. Every talking food instantly became quiet. The countdown reached 0. The kitchen doors slowly opened, and a tall AI chef robot walked out wearing a giant chef's hat. The whole restaurant became silent. The AI chef looked around the restaurant with glowing blue eyes and said, "Kitchen inspection, starting now." Even the robot waiter stood perfectly still. The AI chef stopped in front of my table. It looked at the talking pizza, the burger, the fries, and then at me. "Why is everyone having a meeting?" Before I could answer, the pizza quickly said, "We're discussing world peace." The burger whispered, "And extra cheese." The AI chef slowly nodded and typed on a floating digital screen. It read, "Customer humor level, extremely high." The chef smiled for the first time and announced, "Excellent, time for today's cooking challenge." I immediately became nervous. A shiny cooking station rose from the floor. The AI chef handed me a chef's hat and a wooden spoon. "Today, you are the chef," it said. I laughed and replied, "I can barely make instant noodles." The pizza shouted, "Perfect, you're qualified." The robot waiter placed 3 mystery ingredients on the table. They were covered with silver lids, and nobody knew what was inside. The AI chef raised one finger and smiled. "Open the first lid." I slowly reached forward, wondering what crazy ingredient was waiting for me. I slowly lifted the first silver lid. Inside was a dancing tomato wearing tiny sunglasses. It looked at me and shouted, "Let's catch up with the beat." The dancing tomato started spinning on the table. The fries began clapping. The burger laughed, and even the pizza started singing. I couldn't stop laughing. The AI chef calmly wrote on his tablet, "Ingredient number 1, approved for maximum silliness." "Now open the second lid." I took a deep breath and carefully lifted it. Inside sat a tiny onion wearing boxing gloves. It jumped into the air and yelled, "Who's ready to cry from laughing?" The little onion challenged the dancing tomato to a boxing match. Instead of punching each other, they started dancing together. The AI chef nodded proudly and announced, "Excellent teamwork. This recipe is becoming perfectly ridiculous." I looked at the final silver lid and whispered, "Please don't be another talking vegetable." Everyone around the table smiled. I slowly opened the last lid, and a tiny piece of cheese popped out wearing a superhero cape. It shouted, "Cheese Man is here to save dinner." The dancing tomato, the boxing onion, and Cheese Man struck heroic poses together while the whole restaurant cheered. The AI chef smiled and announced, "Tomorrow, we cook the funniest meal ever."